Hey guys, welcome back to Smart Simple Savings. I'm Stuart, and with so much economic uncertainty today, I want to talk about the future. And not necessarily your specific future, but your future kid's future, your current kid's future, maybe your grandkid's future. So wherever you are in life and the kids in your life, this video is for you. And because of the cost of college, which has been skyrocketing over the last decade, that's what we're going to focus on, because the sooner you can start building a plan and preparing for college for your kids, or if they don't go to college, even if this works for as a trade school as well, the earlier you can start, the better off you're going to be, because at the current rate, college expenses and tuition is just skyrocketing. So the sooner you get started, the better. Let's jump into it. All right, so all the options we're going to talk about today, all of them can be helpful to pay off college, and then some of them can work for college and retirement. And we're not going to cover everything, but we're going to cover like the 5 things that I really like. And the first one for college is parents are either in the boat of I'm not going to pay for my kids' college. I didn't have any help with mine, and I got through it, and I learned a lot. And that's fine if that's your train of thought. To push your kids to find their own scholarships, to work through college, and to learn to be self-sufficient. But if you are a parent or grandparent that want to help your kids or grandkids with college and you're not sure what to do, the first thing I want to talk about is a 529. And that's what I have set up for my 3 kids. And the 529 you can find with just about any brokerage firm, but a lot of states have it. And we have ours through the state of Tennessee. I like the state option. Some of the states do special bonuses and money giveaways that you can do. But the thing about the 529 is it can grow tax-free as long as the money withdrawn is used for qualified education expenses. And that also works for trade schools. It works for, obviously, college tuition. It can work for room and board, books, any like school supplies. So there's a wide range of expenses that fall into that tax-free category. There is a limitation up to $16,000 a year that follows the standard gift tax or gift tax limitations. But you can do a lump sum. Say your kids get an inheritance of $80,000 and it qualifies for the previous 6 years. So it's up to $80,000 that you can also use. Some benefits are it goes against the parent's asset. So if you are applying for financial aid, whatever you've built up in that 529 doesn't count against you when you're applying for financial aid. That's a big pro. The other is it can be gifted to someone else. So say one of your kids gets a lot of scholarships and you only use a portion of it, you can then transfer that to another child. It doesn't have to be your child. You can gift it to a different family member or somebody like that. You can also withdraw that money for non-education expenses, but you will pay a 10% penalty. So say you get a full ride and you have no one to give it to, you can withdraw that. You don't lose the money, but there is a 10% penalty. With that, another negative is there are limited investment options. You don't get to pick your own investments with a 529. It goes into things like ETFs and mutual funds that are kind of set up and directed by whatever 529 you go through. Now, the other option that is specifically for college is called a Coverdell ESA. This one has a few more limitations, but the nice thing about the ESA is that it can be converted to a 529 when you're ready, because it has some lower contribution requirements or limitations. It is $2,000 a year is the maximum amount you can contribute to it. So if you start out on the smaller end, you can start out with an ESA. It has a larger range of investments, so you can pick your own. A lot of them you can pick your own stocks, you can pick your own funds to go into. So you have a broader range of investments, and then when you get to that point where you're maxing out the contribution, you can move that into a 529. You can't take a 529 and go to an ESA, but it has all the same expense qualifications that a 529, so that it can still go tax-free. You can still draw those out and use them for the same exact expenses that you could a 529. This one also has some income limitations. So if you make over $110,000 as an individual, or $220,000 if you file your taxes together as a married couple, then is that limitation. So if you fall over that limit as well, then you've got to go the 529 route and you can't do the ESA. Now, the third option I want to talk about that's specifically geared toward college is a U.S. savings bond. And that's what I actually had to help pay for some of my college that my great-grandmother bought me when I was born, and for the first few years of my life that matured, and I cashed those out. And you can still buy U.S. savings bonds, and you can, if used for qualified education expenses, that interest is tax-free. So that's some of the same type of expense limitations that the 529 and ESA has. But it is going to be the most safest and secure because the 529 and the ESA both are invested into the market, even though they're in some broad funds. If you have a market crash like we've recently had through 2020 and the beginning of 2022, if that's when you're cashing them out, you could be losing some money. And so the savings bonds are the safest and pretty much most guaranteed, albeit smaller growth, but like guaranteed interest in earnings. So it may be an option to balance those two out, is buy some savings bonds and then go into a 529 or ESA. All right, and the last two I want to talk about are standard brokerage accounts. And so you have a custodial brokerage account that is in the child's name, and you are the custodian of it until they're the age of like 18 or 21. And the other one is a regular brokerage account where it's just in your name, and you set the child as the primary beneficiary for that account, and then there's some paperwork, but then you can have it transferred into that child's name at your will. It's not at 18 or 21 like the custodial is. So the custodial account is, like I said, it's a regular brokerage account, and you can invest in anything that a regular brokerage account can. So you can go individual stocks, you can do funds, you can do bonds, anything you could do. The market's wide open for that. But what I like it, and what I have one for my kids, it's a way to teach them about investing. It's a way to allow them to learn at such an early age what compound interest has the capability of doing. Now, the thing about the custodial is that at 18 or 21, depending on your state, that transfers into their name, and it is their money to do what with they want, and you no longer have control of it. So that can be a good thing, and the kids can begin to save and take ownership of it, or it can be a bad thing because they may cash out and just go spend it. But it's a great way to teach them and give them a foundation that could be, depending on how well it works, an incredible down payment on a first home, the start to what hopefully would be an incredible retirement account for them. But a negative is, if they are applying for financial aid for college, it is considered an asset in their name and can have a substantial impact on what they can receive for financial aid. So that is something to think about. That's why I balance that and the 529 out, and I put a little bit smaller amount in the custodial account. And right now, with my kids all being under 10, it's specifically, I'm using it as a teaching tool so they can learn. And we'll sit down and talk and let them pick out some of the investments that go into that account. The other is a standard brokerage account, and it's in your name. Your child is the beneficiary. Again, it's wide open as far as the investments go. This one will not count against them for financial aid, so that's a benefit if you're looking between the two. And then your child is just the beneficiary, and it may be something you just want to keep building, and then at a certain time, either you keep it until death and it's just a gift to them, or at some point in their life, it's a time for you to transfer it over and as a gift to them. But it's more on your terms versus a custodial, which is at a certain time at 18 or 21, it goes directly to them and they have the full control over it. But remember, all withdrawals are taxed on the custodial and the brokerage account. That's why I like diversifying with the 529 or the ESA as well, in order to break that up just a little bit. Alright guys, thanks for watching. If you have any questions on any of those different options, please leave a comment down there and ask, and I will get back to you on that. Make sure you hit that like, hit that subscribe button. Help me out as I continue to make these videos. And hope you enjoyed and learned something in this video. And I will see you guys in the next one as you become smart, simple, safe.